Here are the 3 things you need to be doing as a salesperson, okay? A lot of people in sales, they think that a salesperson does one thing, which is what? Closing, or just create sales. And that is partly true. Partly true. Okay, there's 3 things you do as a salesperson. Okay, 3 things. Number 1 is you prospect. Now, you may be part of a company or an organization, maybe you've been part of other teams in the past where you were provided the prospecting was done for you. Now, I like the idea of a top 1%er or a 20%er, preferably a 1%er. In my opinion, there's always a 1%er, right? There's the 20%er, there's the 60%er, which is the average Joey Schmoes, and you have the 19% bottom, right? These people never make it. These people are average. You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, these are the top dogs, right? And these are the Hall of Famers, okay? So, in my opinion, if you are a Hall of Famer salesperson, then yes, you shouldn't be prospecting. Like, for example, someone like Yossi, someone like Eric, in my opinion, because they're so fucking good, them wasting their time at prospecting may be counterproductive, but in reality, when you're building a company from the bottom up, you still got to go out there and do it. Okay? Until you have enough people on your team. But if you don't have people on your team, or if you don't have, the skill set of a 1%er, how many guys consider yourself a 1%er in skill set in sales? What about 20%er? What about 60%? Okay? So if you're a top dog, then I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna be a definition. If you're a top dog, it's not just about your percentage of closing, but it's also the amount of closes you get. So in solar, in my opinion, if you're doing 8 average sales a month, this is 8, okay? This is basically 2 a week. You're considered a 60%er. If you're doing 3 to 4 a week, which is what Yossi has done many times, Eric has done many times, that bare minimum. Shaquem can do 3, 4 easily, right or wrong. We guys see him do it all the time, right? They're considered top dogs, right? 1%er is someone that is completely out of the game. Someone that does, for example, I would say 4 to 5 sales a week, 16 to 25 sales in a month, right? A top dog, I would say, is 3 to 3, I would say is 12 to 16, okay? And a bottom percenter is someone that does 4 or under, right? One sale a week is like considered a bottom. You guys agree with these numbers? Okay. Top dog, average guy could do about 8 sales a month. Okay. Usually bottom feeders are like 4 sales or less a month. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're starting out, that's okay. You're probably starting on the bottom. Is that fair to say or no? You just started. I'm sorry, you're not going to be a fucking 16 to 25 guy this month, right? You got to get the skill set. As you're increasing your skill set, right? As time goes on, your skill set goes up. By the way, time does not have to equate to that. You don't need time to become better. You just need skill. So it could take you 6 months. It could take you 6 weeks. It all depends on you. Okay. So average person does about 8 a month. Talk about consistently. So now with these metrics, where would you guys put yourself? How many guys would put yourself in a 19% or the bottom percent right now? Be honest. How many guys would put yourself in an average percentage? 60%? Okay, how many of you guys would put 20%? Right? So you got to think about that. So understand where you're at. It's okay to be, you need to understand exactly where you're at, otherwise you're lying to yourself. Because a lot of people, you know what, if without this stuff, I would say, where would you put yourself? What would they say? I'm 1%er. You're lying to yourself, right? So the number one thing about in sales, you got to stop lying to yourself. The reason why salespeople do that, because they have such high confidence, because we're sales guys. We're always convincing everyone, we're convincing ourselves. So it's like, you're always thinking higher of yourself when you really are. But you got to look at the numbers and say, okay, consistently, what am I bringing to the table? To be honest with you, for a very long time, I was average in the beginning for many, many years, and I earned my way into the top dog, and I became a Hall of Famer in Verizon because I became like fucking insane. Like my stick rate was 92%, right? That's not normal. When I say 92% of my customers stuck. It was actually 92.8%, was like 93%, which means that if I put a sale in, 92% chance they're fucking going through. Right? So for every 10 deals, I would have maybe 1 cancel. Maybe. Right? It's pretty fucking good, right? And the only reason why I became number 1 was because I was in top office, like in the top country. We were like, I don't remember what number I was, but I was in the top. Our office was number 1 for a period of time. This is when I was an agent. I wasn't working for myself. I was an agent. The reason why I was doing so great, because at that time in Verizon, doing fucking 10 to 15 sales a week was considered like, whoa. Like nobody was doing that. Right? The top guy in my office was doing 8 sales a week, so I was doubling the top guy. The reason why I was able to be in this was because for many fucking years I was where? I was here. Many years. I was an average guy. Make sense? But what really helped me go from average to top dog and eventually become a Hall of Famer when it comes to sales and now able to train massive amounts of salespeople. And the reason why I was able to grow my skill set so much was because of one fucking word. What do you think it is?
Discipline.
Yeah, discipline is part of that, but yes, what was it? What was I focused on always? I was always fucking hustling. I was always prospecting. What makes salespeople weak is they do not prospect. Guarantee you that in the bag. The guys that prospect are the guys that are the sharpest and the toughest in the marketplace. 100%. Go watch YouTube videos. You'll see top dogs. 1%ers, what are they doing? Exactly. They're always self-genning. They're always prospecting. As a matter of fact, I never in my entire life, until I got into solar, and to be honest with you, a couple of my deals were appointments. Half of them were not. Half of them. I only had like 10, 15 deals in solar. I don't have that many. I don't sell that much, right? But the ones that I did close, half of them were given to me, and the other half were self-generated, right? And I'm telling you, prospecting is what made me a fucking beast. It wasn't the actual presentations and the closes. What makes you really fucking good is handling objections and getting no's in your fucking face and getting thick skin. So for those fat slobs or skinny slobs or people that are like, oh no, I want to be a pig and lay down and just wait for my food to come to my fucking table. So long story short, the pigs that are getting fed or the hogs that are getting slaughtered, at the end of the day, you get nowhere. Because prospecting is what makes you stronger. Prospecting is what makes you a fucking beast. It helps you go from average or wherever you guys are at to the next fucking level immediately. Why? It's not about increasing your chance of getting better. Yes, you're increasing your fucking conversations.
Repetition.
Yes. Think about how many presentations or sit-downs you get versus how many conversations you have. You have more conversations or more presentations? Conversations. So what are you doing in those conversations? You're selling. You're still closing. You may not realize it. You're closing people to sit down with you. You're closing people to get in their fucking house. I used to do all kinds of tricks to get people's houses. In New York City, they close the door the second you say, they close the door on you. So I got fucking sick and tired of that. I was like, hey, how you doing? I put my foot in the door and I wouldn't let fucking my foot out. Now, that wasn't an ethical thing or anything to do. I wouldn't recommend that, right? But I had a lot of guys that did that in the hood and they almost got themselves killed, right? Because that was, you know, they saw me do it, so they, oh, you could do it too. But I knew when to do it, when not to do it, right? If a guy's a little bit more angrier or a little bit more scarier, you don't fucking put your foot in his door. You're like, what the fuck is that, right? So, and it's just little things that I paid attention to that I knew that could help with my personality get into the home, right? Because I was closing people to sit down with me. I was closing, by the way, selling a service that someone already has and they have no problem with it technically is very hard to sell. You guys are selling a product where everyone's like, oh yeah, solar. It's either, oh yeah, solar, or someone fucked me. Those are the only two things you usually get. But the ones that are, oh yeah, solar, it's like, bro, it's easy. They're ready to sit down with you. It's the ones that are tougher. They're like, oh, someone fucked me. Then you got to have a little bit of more conversation. Are you open-minded? Put a little ego on them. Put a little, right? So prospecting is what makes you stronger. So most salespeople think that selling is closing and actually what? And sales. That is one part of it. It's 1/3 of it. Learning how to prospect and actually prospecting at a higher level. You got to understand, I was the #1 fucking dog and I was still prospecting. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm a Hall of Famer, but I'm just telling you the results that I brought to the table that made me a #1 fucking guy in sales. I'm saying it very humbly. I actually don't even like to call myself 1%er, but the results speak for themselves. When you have a 92% stick rate, I mean, you cannot argue with that. Am I right or am I wrong? I always hunted my own food. Now, does that require more time and energy?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more hustle. But what does it do?
Raises your numbers.
Oh boy, it raises your conversations. The amount of conversations, I had more conversations than anybody I knew because I was always out there grinding it. I had a friend of mine, the guy that was doing 8 sales or 9 sales a week, he was doing half referrals and half prospecting. There was a lady in the previous company, she was only doing referrals. I surpassed her. She ended up working for me after. It's crazy. She was the #1 salesperson in Time Warner Cable. She was there for 25 years. 25 years. She was #1. Like, when I say #1, she was here and everyone was, like, the second person was here. Like, she was making like $250,000, $275,000 a year, which in that industry is like, it's like not like you, they don't want you to make that much. As a matter of fact, they kind of changed the commissions multiple times so she doesn't get that money. The commission structure didn't even matter to her. She was always top tier for all the things. We had like 5 levels to make commissions. She was always so far ahead of number 5. Like, it was like, bro, I don't know how the fuck she's doing it. But she had referrals. She had a fucking system. 25 years. Can you imagine 25 years? Somebody knows you for 25 years. What do they do? The whole neighborhood's telling you. She's always taking numbers and always, she was always like, she had a hunchback. She was always doing this. Swear to God. She ended up working for us 3 years after, because Time Warner Cable ended up firing her because the whole system fell apart. She ended up working for me for a little bit. It was the funniest shit ever, right? Top dog. Can you imagine? My ego was so high at that moment. I was like, yes, yes. I don't know. That felt good for a couple of days. But the point I'm trying to make is this: prospecting. Who do you think was a better salesperson, me or her? Honestly.
Her.
No. She was good.
Mock you.
She was good. But she did something that was smarter. Short term. Maybe long term for herself. But I knew I'm 10 times better. Because with my skill set, I was able to do what? What can I do? When you're great at prospecting, what can you do? More results. Why? Because you're not dependent on anybody. I didn't have to depend on nobody. Team, no team, didn't fucking matter. I was always able to go out there, and I knew that day if I go out there, I'm getting a deal. 100%, guaranteed in the bag. No questions asked. I knew it, 100%. You're like, oh, Michael, what if it's a bad day? There's no such thing as a bad day. I had very few days with zeros. I can count maybe on my hand how many days I had zero. Because I knew that if I'm going to go out there, someone's going to fucking sign me today. They say the word done. They say the beginning letter of the company they're with, done. Right? That was my mindset. So in my mindset, if I was to do solar, this is what I would think. They have no panels, done. It's 100% done. Now I just got to find a way for them to make sure it's done. Right? But prospecting is it. For those of you that are sitting there waiting for your generators to book your appointments, you're missing the fucking ball. I'm telling you. When you're having conversations, you're not rusty showing up at 3 o'clock to your appointment. Right or wrong? You're sharp. You're fresh. So there's two things. It increases your fucking chances, increases your mindset, increases your endorphins, and you're fucking ready to rock and roll, increases your skill set. Right? It also does another thing. This is the most powerful thing that it does for you. What does it do? Rising tide does what? Raises all the ships. When you as a leader are going out there and you're fucking creating results, you're basically telling everyone, I am not waiting for you, I am not waiting for you, I am not waiting for you, I'm not waiting for you, I'm going out there and I'm fucking grinding. You want to come? Awesome. You don't want to come? You're going to get left behind. Deuces.
You also make more money.
Oh, fuck yeah. You also make more money, but forget about that aspect, right? I did that. Listen, if I wanted to create momentum, guess what I did? I went to the field, 2-3 weeks, bang, slapped it on people's foreheads. Always. It was always that simple. Go out there and slap it. When you slap it, people on your team will be like, oh, fuck, my boy, he's out there, let's go, right? And I did it, I knocked on doors for a very long time. I had 7 figures in my bank account and I was still fucking knocking. Think about that. I want you to think about that. Not 100 grand. I had over 7 figures. Who knows what 7 figures is? Talk about liquid. I was still out there knocking and prospecting. Can you imagine that? Most people can't comprehend that. That is how we were able to build a fucking massive team, because I was out there in the fucking front. I was the spear. This is me. I was the spear. Okay? I was the tip of the spear. I wasn't waiting for everyone to do it. I did it. And because I did it, people started doing it too. I wish I didn't have to do operations and fucking retention and recruiting, all this shit. Because if I only had to just go out there and sell, it would have been easy. This business is a little bit harder than what we did before because we have a lot of ops and back end and bullshit. With Verizon, there was no back end, right? Recruiting till 1, 2 o'clock, boom, out to the field. It was easy, right? So it's much easier to just go out there and fucking prospect and show your team that I am not waiting for who? I'm not waiting for you. Guess what happens when you do that? They start fucking producing. You will see a massive increase in your fucking show rates. 100 million, I put money on the table. When you start prospecting, how many guys have ever experienced that? You experience that. The second you go out there and you prospect and you door knock, boom, all of a sudden they start booking. Because they know that, oh shit, her time is being eaten up by her own schedule. That's what ends up happening, okay? What's the second thing? So you understand the importance of prospecting? How many guys before this conversation thought prospecting is a waste of time? How many guys understand the value of prospecting? For yourself, for building a team, a lot of angles. Controlling your income, right? It's a lot. It's not just building a team. It does so much fucking wonders for people. When you create action in the world, I don't know if you guys watched the movie last night, right? Watched the movie last night. When he was creating all this action, he's able to what? Go from time to time. And you can see you go to different time zones, not time zones, but different eras of your life because of action. When you take control of your fucking life, you're able to create so much shit around you. So much things can change. Just by one little thing, the can of soup, right? Little tomato soup just changes the whole fucking realm of everything. Right? It's incredible. It's incredible. One decision. Imagine when you're making consistent decisions of going out there hustling every single day, what it does to your fucking team. If you're watching this video, right, and you're thinking, oh, why are you talking so much about prospecting? Because that is the key of creating success in sales, my opinion, right? What's the second thing that you're responsible for as a salesperson? Presenting. Okay, this is another thing, right? So this is prospecting is finding the people, right? You have to find them. You got to hunt. Find a spear, fucking throw it at them, right? That's number one, prospecting. Number two is actually having the conversations, actually presenting the information. Your whole objective is to get as many people as possible. Now, let me ask you a question. A guy that does 4 prezzies a week versus a guy who does 4 prezzies a day. I know it's an obvious answer. Who do you think will have a better close rate? You're sharpening your fucking knife at every single presentation. You may have a 50% close rate as an example here. No, sorry. You may have a 20% close rate here. And over here you may have a 60% close rate. Who am I betting on? This guy does 4 a week. He has a 60% close rate. This guy does 4 a day. He has a 20% close rate. Who am I betting on? What are the two variables here? The variable one is the how many he does a week, right? Or how many he does a day. This guy's doing 1 every day almost. This guy's doing 4 a day. 4 a day. This guy's doing 16 a week. 4 times in a week versus 16 times in a week. 20% close rate, 60% close rate. Who do you think I'm investing my time in? You might say, Michael, but he sucks. This 16x guy, give me a couple of weeks with this guy. Guess what's going to happen? This 20x will go into what? Into 30, 40, 50, whatever it may be. And even though this guy's a higher close rate, I will not fucking invest my all into this guy. I'm investing into this guy because he's showing me one variable that he's going to improve on, which is what? The close rate. I don't have to worry about this variable. With this guy, this is the hardest thing to invest into someone. They're not willing to work hard. You cannot do anything with them. You cannot take a fucking horse to the water and make him drink. They gotta want it. So I always find the guy that has the highest work ethic, not the highest skill set. Skill set is easy to fucking train. Give me a couple of weeks, couple of months, skill set done. Little tweaks here and there, nothing crazy. It doesn't matter about the close rate percentage. I don't care about that. That's going to change. That is a very easy variable to change. What's the hard variable to change? Work ethic. If you're doing 1 prezzy a day, you're not sharpening your tool. You don't sound like a fucking beast in the fucking. When you have 4 prezzies in a day, you can put your dick on the table. They don't control you. You control that conversation. You don't care if they sign up or not. You got 3 more to go. Think about that. But when you have 1 prezzy, you're like, I hope he signs up. No, bro, I don't hope nothing. I got fucking 4 customers next. I got 3 customers next door. I'm not waiting for you. I got shit to do. You're wasting. If I'm thinking you're wasting my time, on to the next prezzy. Listen, when you're ready, let me know. I'm out. That's how I was able to get 10, 15 deals a week consistently because that was my mindset. How do I get into fucking prezzies a day? How do I prospect? And right there and then, I'm fucking presenting. Right there. I'm not wasting my time. Now, in solo, it's a little bit different. You want to set up at the time, it's fine. But I'm just giving you the mindset. I want to present as many people as I possibly can. And the more I push the appointment far away, the woohoo shit can happen. A lot of variables. So I don't want to put that against me. I want to put it in my favor. If I can prospect and present at the same time in one transaction, why not? You just got to feel the customer as long as there's decision makers and all those qualifying things that need to be there, right? What is the most important thing, in my opinion, when I look at someone? Is it prospecting or presenting? If I have someone that's prospecting like a fucking beast or presenting like a fucking beast, which one would you invest in? I don't care about the guy who presents the most. I care about the guy who's always prospecting the most. That's the guy who's my man. That's my beast right there. Why is that? It's the hardest fucking thing to do. Nobody wants to do it, and he's willing to do it. That, to me, is going to be a multimillionaire. You want to know how you become rich or a multimillionaire or a millionaire or even 100,000-aire or whatever? Do shit that nobody wants to do. Find out what everyone else is doing because that's the easy way out and do the exact opposite. Everyone's going to fucking Friday nights and Saturday nights to clubs and parties and spending money on bottles and all that bullshit. If you don't do that, you're literally separating yourself from the masses of asses. That's how you become different. That's how you have a different lifestyle, different result. You separate yourself from the masses of asses, right or wrong? You live a different life. I'm not saying you have to do everything different, but for the most part, yes. Look what everyone else is doing, do the exact opposite. Right? Everyone's drinking every fucking Thursday night, you're fucking out there hustling every Thursday night. They're going to fucking these Spanish clubs every fucking Tuesday night, you're fucking hustling a Tuesday night. All your boys want to go fucking to the yacht party that fucking weekend, you say, you know what, I'm going to spend time with my fucking team and go fucking watch a movie with them. Right? It's a different mindset. Because one is investing, one is wasting. No disrespect. I love my buddies from New York and Spain. I love them. But no disrespect, I love you guys way more. Because we have a reason to fucking win together. If they win, awesome. There's no reason for us to win. But over here, I have a fucking reason. I have a reason to go eat a burger with you. It's awesome. You make money, I make money, we win together, we have fun together. That's a fucking awesome fucking reason. I'm not saying you shouldn't have friends inside of business. I'm not saying that. But I personally have a lot of friends that are working with me. Because to me, it's a win-win situation. You understand what I'm saying? To me, it's win-win. And I also protect myself from having negative thoughts. Because if I'm hanging out with my old boy that's always negative about me going out there and hustling, I'm like, dude, can you shut the fuck up? Because he's gonna ask me, how's your thing going? Like, my thing's going fucking good, motherfucker. I'm still 20%, 90%, but I'm trying to get up there, bro. Fuck off. It motivated me when I used to have friends that did that, right? So prospecting and presenting, right, is extremely important to become a master sales guy. You gotta learn how to prospect, you gotta learn how to present. And number 3 is what? Produce. You gotta produce results. Right? You gotta learn the objections. You gotta learn how to get a no turn into a yes, not by force, but with skill. You gotta learn how to get production, right? Because production cures all diseases. Never forget that. When you produce, you cure all the bullshit. If your girlfriend breaks up with you, or your boyfriend breaks up with you, or anything goes on in your life that you don't like, I guarantee you, go out there, make a fucking slap a sale on someone, you'll feel 10 times better. It may not last for a whole month, but that day. Matter of fact, I'll give you guys an example. I broke up in 2016 with my girl. At that time, right? For 6 months I was fucking single. Guess what I did? My boy, I opened up my business right after. Literally at the same time. Opened up my business, 6 months, no girls, no nothing, hammer. Bro, it was amazing. I didn't even have time to think about the shit. Because I was working from fucking 8 to 7 in the morning because I woke up at 7, went to the office at 8, worked till fucking 5 or 6, came home, worked on my computer because it was my first time building a business, building systems, till 10 o'clock at night, go to the gym till 12, go to sleep at 12:31, wake up at 7, constant, 6-7 days a week. That was my life. You think I had time to think about girls? As a matter of fact, I was trying to talk to some girls, and I was like, listen, I can't talk to them until after 9 o'clock. So I would talk here and there throughout the day a little bit, but after 9 o'clock, I'll be able to get on the phone, because I was hustling till 9. Maybe that's why I didn't find a girl at the time. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, Sarah bumps into my life. Listen, 9 o'clock, buddy. Sorry. 9 o'clock. I can't talk to you before 9. I'm fucking focused. Right? We could talk here and there through chat, this and that, but I'm focused. You know what I mean? We could talk after 9. If you want to hang out with me, on the weekend, Friday night. Because it's Shabbat, I decided not to work on Saturdays, so that was my kind of game plan, right? But you have to understand, you have to go out there, prospect, present, and produce. If you do those 3 things as a salesperson, you're going to fucking crush it. Crush it. You're going to change your fucking life. You understand what I'm saying? Like, your fucking whole life will fucking change. You gotta give it enough time for it to grow. You're planting seeds, you're watering, and you're fucking growing that shit. But if you're not doing all 3 of them, it's gonna take you forever. It's not about monkey see, monkey do. It's about leadership. When you see your leader creating results, what do you want to do? You want to create results too. You get motivated, you get inspired, especially when they look up to you. So my suggestion, go out there and prospect. Go out there and learn how to fucking present properly, right? As many as you possibly can. Get those numbers up. Stop doing those rookie numbers. This is rookie numbers, guys. Rookie numbers. Rookie numbers. I want you to get a 20% close rate. If you could do 50, great. But in your mind, picture yourself as a 20, 30% close rate guy. Don't tell me it's not doable. The people in the marketplace doing it every fucking day. The highest I ever did in 1 week was 24 sales. Yeah. I had a great fucking week that week. Great fucking week. By myself. No appointments, none of that shit. I'd self-fucking-gen that shit. I was in a fucking building with a table from fucking 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning till fucking 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night for a whole fucking week. I almost missed the gym. I had to go to the gym still because you know me, I'm always going to the gym. I was like this in the gym. Fucking brain dead, right? But why did I do that? Because I had an obsession to get to the fucking number 1. That was my obsession. I need to get 100 grand in my bank account and make 100 grand in a year, right? So when you have that kind of fire inside of you, you don't give a fuck. Pride, I don't give a fuck, bro. I got to shovel horse shit. Fuck it, let's go, bro. That's me. But a lot of people, they're thinking about, oh, you don't understand. I'm tired. It's too hot. Guys, if you're thinking about it's too hot, I'm tired, I don't want to do it, all these things kick in, your dream is not big enough. Raise your fucking standards. Think about something that motivates you. Because when the why is strong enough, this shit doesn't fucking matter. If you have not subscribed to the channel on YouTube, do me a favor, do me a solid, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys in the next video.